The clang of his boots on the concrete floor were the only company Detective Malone had as he stepped into the abandoned warehouse. Reports said it was a haven for ghosts, a dead end for a string of vanished teens. But Malone didn't buy into ghost stories. He believed in evidence, not legends. The Friday fog pressed up against the broken windows, spilling through the cracks like a living thing, swallowing the light from his flashlight with greedy hunger. He paused near a pillar, cigarette trembling between his fingers. A cold draft whispered along his neck, but it wasn't the chill that made him freeze. It was the toy bear sitting upright in a puddle of moonlight, still as a corpse. Malone crouched closer. It was sodden, button eyes missing, fur caked in mud. On its chest, the word help was scratched in with what looked suspiciously like dried blood. Another clang echoed. Malone spun, light arcing through the haze, illuminating shadows that seemed to twitch and recoil. A shape dashed behind rusted machinery, a fleeting glimpse, frail and pale, bare feet slapping on cold cement. He called out, but silence was his only response. Still, he kept after the sound, mind racing with possible suspects, but deep inside, a primal dread rose in his throat. Malone traced muddy footprints that appeared and vanished into unnatural angles. They led to a row of decaying lockers. With heart hammering, he yanked open the nearest door. A burst of iron and formaldehyde stung his nostrils. Inside, a pile of tattered clothes, stained and shredded, tangled with clumps of long, dark hair. He stumbled back as his flashlight flickered, casting the room in staccato nightmares. In each pulse of light, the shadows thickened, seeming to reach for him. A metallic rasp, like a nail dragging along a steel drum, reverberated behind him. He whipped around. There, near the loading dock, a small figure hovered atop the wooden pallets. A face, bloated and warped, grinned as if carved from wax. Its eyes oozed black tears, jaw swinging unnaturally as it chattered a guttural laugh that didn't belong to any living creature. Malone backed away, gun trembling in his hand, but his feet stuck to the floor, cemented by icy fear. The figure lunged, movements jerky, as if yanked on invisible strings. The detective fired, the bang echoing off metal ribs of the warehouse, but the bullets only pierced air. The thing exploded into a shower of ash and shadowy wisps. He stumbled toward the nearest exit, feet slapping frantically, desperate to escape the suffocating darkness. He burst into the fog outside, lungs heaving. But as he looked over his shoulder, the warehouse doors gaped open, as if inviting him back inside. And from within, hundreds of button eyes blinked in the gloom, each one watching, waiting for the next unfortunate soul who didn't believe in ghosts. Most folks in Millersville avoided the Covington textile mill after dark. But Gordon Price, ex-cop turned night watchman, had bills to pay and ghosts to ignore. The mill, a hulking brick remnant from a forgotten era, slept during the day. Come midnight, it breathed. Gordon's shift started at 11. The musty lobby clock always lagged 5 minutes. On the wall, faded photos of smiling workers mocked him. He pocketed the keys, a heavy ring that clinked with every step, and flicked on his battered flashlight. The first patrol was routine, past the looms, empty break room, equipment closets lined with shadows. The only sound was his own boots echoing on warped floorboards, and outside, the wind pawed at cracked glass. His radio sputtered static. He checked each door, each window, just as the supervisor wanted documented. The air was impossibly still. At 12:35, his beam caught something near the back staircase, boot prints wet leading upstairs. He knelt, touched the floor, dry as bone. The prints disappeared around a corner. Gordon frowned. Kids, he thought, trying to scare the new guy. He radioed the station. No answer but static. He trudged up, flashlight slicing through decades of layered dust. The air changed on the third floor, colder. The smell was different, sharp, metallic. His light danced over industry relics, dissected sewing machines, collapsed desks. At the north window, the glass rattled softly as if someone was breathing against it from inside. A figure in his peripheral vision, a shape huddled in the shadows, impossibly still. Gordon drew his bat and called out. Silence answered. But then the sound, the rhythmic clink, 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 like his own keyring, only heavier, coming from somewhere he couldn't see. He scanned the hall, empty except for a scrap of fabric snagged on a nail, deep scarlet, almost fresh. He followed the clinking to the maintenance elevator. The old doors groaned. Inside, nothing but the smell of rust and something else, sweet and rotten. Suddenly, the controls flickered. B1, B2, B3. Gordon stared. There was no basement 3, not on any map. On trembling legs, he pressed the button. The elevator plunged. As it descended, the light inside grew dimmer. He heard whispers, the roll call of names, factory girls who vanished after their final shift, a supervisor snarl, something like sobbing. The door slid open, exposing a corridor lined with old lockers. Shadows pooled, thick and eager. Halfway down, the humming started, an old lullaby, the sort mothers sing to ward off what waits in the dark.